Hey, thanks for joining us on today's Infinity Matrix live stream. Please consider this our gift to you as an exploration into the spiritual realm, the universal architecture of infinite possibilities. Here we teach, explore, experiment in order to share with you the secrets of the universe and its abundance of life-changing knowledge. Please remember to click subscribe and ring that bell to stay up to date with all of our continuing content.
Well, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome back to Hacking the Infinity Matrix. Another
All right, all
episode.
right, all right. That's good, good.
Seems like we've been away forever since we've done the last episode. Hope you've been enjoying our Infinite Wisdom series over the summer. We are now back to a regular or somewhat regular schedule with these episodes. So we'll be doing these, coming back with these Hacking the Infinite Matrix episodes week after week, and every now and then we're going to pepper in and sprinkle in and slip in another interview from the from Infinite Wisdom series. And so today we bring to you the conversation, and we're going to talk to you about soul searching in a chaotic world. This is episode number 89. And since it's been a while, as you join in today, go ahead and tell us in the comments where you're chiming in from. We want to reconnect with some of you that have been regulars, and those of you that are new, kind of let us know as well, so we can kind of welcome you and invite you into the family, into the community, and let us know where you're from. So let us know your city and your country, and let us know if it's your first time as well, right? Hashtag first time is usually what we ask you to do. So hashtag first time, just so we know it's your first time in here listening to us on any of these live streams, or even just the Hacking the Infinite Matrix segments. Because again, if you've been listening to the Infinite Wisdom series, you're going to notice there's a difference in the type of content we're bringing here on these as opposed to those. And so as you join us, there we go. We got I can't even pronounce that, but somewhere in Germany is the first time. Hey, Janina, how are you doing? Hey, Jolene, good to see you.
Hey,
And,
Ashish,
and
I'm doing.
and I know that, for us over here where we're at, we've been experiencing some serious heat over this summer, and many of you around the world have also been experiencing that too. So, not only just, where you're from in the city, in the country, but go ahead and tell us in the comments if the temperature is or has been cold, warm, hot, or extra hot where you are right now. All right? Go ahead and let us know. Okay, we got,
Give
there
us
we
some
go.
degrees or some centigrade. Is it
Hey,
centigrade?
Rita. Is it centigrade or degrees? Yeah, or
Oh,
Fahrenheit. Yeah.
fair enough. There you go. Yeah.
Hey, Rita, thanks for posting the links there.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
Trent City are awesome. And Canada, first time, Julia. Wait, where in Canada, Julia? I'm over just outside Vancouver. Awesome. Beautiful day there. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here too, and we finally start to drop that temperature a little bit. So it's a little bit bearable for. I love it personally. Heat, I like it. It's in my Jamaican blood. I love the heat, so I don't complain when it's hot. It has to be like exhaustingly hot for me to complain about it. So I'm totally all right with that. United States, I have a lot to
You,
talk about.
you
Yeah,
can
we all
let
have a
me.
lot to talk about. East Regina, Saskatchewan. Hey, okay, awesome. In the middle of the
Yeah,
country.
yeah. I'm not a
Okay,
heat
so
guy. I'm not a heat guy. You can light a match, and I'm too hot. So, but
that's funny.
I'm from northern Minnesota. So I'm used to just sleeping on in an igloo. So,
All right. And so Ross, give everyone a reminder of why we haven't been here doing the Hacking Infinity Matrix episodes in the last 4 to 5
I'll tell you.
weeks.
So what we decided to do is that there's so much information out there. There's so many things that Gary and I like to learn, and people that we meet, and whether it be online or in person or at different seminars and such. And we're just like, we want our people to hear about you. So there are just so many interesting people with amazing ideas and amazing accomplishments. And so we decided to create the the Infinite Wisdom interview series,
Mhm.
and it has just been just a joy. It really has, and we're constantly people are now. I'm just getting bombarded with requests to be on the show. So we're not gonna do them every single week. Now we just did that just to kind of take a little bit of a break, a little bit for the summer, but we are planning on having probably Gary what like about one a month is kind of how we're looking at
Probably.
doing
Yeah.
that.
Hey, Ross, I just got a message from Jolene. If anyone else is the same thing, Jolene says for you to turn up your mic a bit, Ross, so maybe get it closer or something. It sounds fine on my end, but if anyone else is experiencing that, let us know. Otherwise, Jolene, it might be on your end. Um, but if anyone else is experiencing audio challenges with Ross as he's speaking, just let us know in the comments, and then we'll see if there's any adjustments we can make on the fly.
Yeah, because usually it's only my wife that has audio challenges with me. So
I can relate, brother. I can relate.
okay, I'm gonna do one thing here real quick. Give me just a second. I'm gonna check my
All right.
mic. No, my mic is good. It's the mic that I use all the time. So
Sunny Iowa. Hey,
that's
Melanie. Good to see you. Okay, and Melanie says she hears you fine. So, okay, Jolene, it might just be on your end. Okay, so go ahead, Ross. Sorry to interrupt you
there
there.
you go. Oh, that's all right, not a problem. So
Oh,
anyhow, the
Nancy's
Infinite
softer as well.
Wisdoms interview series has just been a real success. We've got lots more people that are lined up for it. As I said, we're going to do, we're planning on doing approximately one a month. There might be two a month. It's just kind of it really what's coming down now is the biggest challenge there is trying to line things up with our scheduling and that when we go live with their schedules. And there are some people who we really want to get on. They're just like, I just will not be able to make on at that time. And so then Gary and I are kind of like, well, then we'll probably pre-record the show,
Mhm.
just so that we can bring these people to you and the information that they have. So that's kind of what look for it. We'll always let you know whether it's going to be an actual live stream like we're having today, or if it's going to be an interview series. So that's going to be it.
All right, let's jump into what we got from today.
Let's go. So, um, you know, last week we completed the latest version of the module one for the infinity process, and it's part of the art of designing your reality package. And each time I complete any of our trainings, it leaves me feeling rather melancholy. And although I am quite elated in having the honor to present new ideas and new perspectives to our students and meeting new people, I'm saddened by two things. One, the cycle of chaos that so many people have had to endure before they find us. And then second, the millions of people that don't even know what's possible in their lives, living trapped with only one thought echoing through their mind. Is this all there is? Because when you discover the possibility of new realities, it's like bungee jumping from the top of the Empire State Building and in 2 seconds being taken to the bottom of Death Valley. It's totally disorienting and seemingly unfathomable for a lot of people. Like, this is possible? So the challenge that breakthroughs that they create is something that's very freeing about having your life back in your control with new ideas that you will find new stimulus to ever motivate you. And then as other things happen, you start to relate to people again. You kind of start to come out of your shell because you're more comfortable. And as you come back into the world and relate to them, their stimulation surges you forward even more. And when you look at the power of the human spirit, it's much more than just the spirit. It's the power of the mind. And distinguishing between the mind and the brain, some people say that the brain is a biological computer. Yet there is something there. Perhaps it's the deity within. There's that spark, that innate divine thing that it stems from creation. That thing that is a soul, it's a human spirit, which is more powerful than any drug or any force on earth. And that power needs to be nourished. So you have to be the hero of your own story. And you can do that very easily. 90% of it is just showing up. And you've heard this before. You get there and you start working like you're not going to feel, you're not going to feel perfect every day. And that's where people get discouraged. Like, well, I'm here, I'm waiting for this transformation, this instant transformation. Well, we can do instant transformations. We've done them many times and such. But, the expectation is unrealistic. So there's going to be those days that you push through, and they're probably going to be more numerous than the days that you don't. So the benefit of discipline in our eyes has always been that through discipline, you get things done. Virtually everything that you want to do, no matter what it is. It's what you want to be done. When it comes to our bodies, for whatever reason, most people avoid anything that's uncomfortable. It's so illogical, because when you look at comfort and you look at success and progress and the feelings of accomplishment, of getting past certain hurdles, these are all the things that heroes do. That's what distinguishes them from the rest of the crowd. It really is discomfort and not being happy and content that certain situations in your life or certain feelings in life, they're the big problem, is sitting down and going and doing the work that labels it like an enemy, that calls it's like, I'm going to do this, but then, you have this resistance, and you can sit down and you can overcome that resistance. And that the pro goes to work, and it doesn't matter if you're sick, it doesn't matter if you have kids, it doesn't matter if you're overwhelmed with work and that and that and that. It just puts it in your head that, what is it that I do? Having pride in that, and then you are in front of your keyboard or in front of whatever it is that you're going to do, in front of a customer or in a meeting, or a meeting with your accountants, or whatever, the things that we don't like to do, whatever it is, and you look down and you just get it done. And if you break things down into these smaller little bits, these smaller little tasks, you're going to get the work out of, get it done. And then that's when you just all of a sudden step back and go, I just created something. Wow, that's really good, because you got rid of that resistance. It reminds me of when I have to repair something around the house. I'm just like, oh gosh, I really don't want to do, or even just paint a room. It's like, God, I really don't want to do this. I think I'm gonna go do laundry. You find something else that you would prefer to do other than that. But then you back up and you're just like, well, why don't I want to do this? What is it about this? And you break it down into pieces. That's how you get past it. It's really about the resistance that people feel when you should write, or that you should paint, or whatever you sculpt, whatever these things are that you pursue. And there's this thing that comes up that tries to keep you from doing that. And it's that resistance. And you feel like you're not a hero in your own eyes. And you're not someone who you respect. You're doing what you got to do to get by, but ultimately you're not respecting yourself. And I think we all have a certain amount of appreciation and respect for hero figures. Like we all look at the guy who never lies and always does the right thing and helps everybody out. That's the ultimate hero. And he's like, well, this is a battle that you fight, for the rest of your life. You're always going to have that resistance. And it seems that a lot of society today just gives into the resistance. And they don't understand why things are turning out the way they're turning out.
Yeah.
But the key is to fight it and not to give in. Don't give in to that resistance to fight, or fight that resistance and doing it so every day. You have won that battle for the day. And that's what it's all about. I'm done. I got this done. I got this. That sense of accomplishment is amazing. And you will continue to fight that battle day after day. And when you look at your own life and you don't stack up, you slowly start devaluing yourself. You look at yourself and you realize that if you were judging yourself, you would judge yourself unfavorably. So no matter who you are, you can't pretend you're the hero of your story. You can be the hero of your story that woke up today. You can be the hero of your own story, whether you're 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, it doesn't matter. It's never too late. If you got out of bed and said, I'm not doing this anymore, that's the beginning. And only by my instincts and only by my morals and my ideals and my mind that I'm going to be dead honest with myself. Just being honest with myself, because I'm realizing that this is not going to last forever. I'm going to get myself in shape, or I'm going to eat healthy, or I'm going to do this because this is me now. And I've decided that this is the new me. This is who I am starting right now. I've always had my own philosophy in life is that all I want in life is to be better today than I was yesterday. And now what how much of that growth there is there isn't the priority. The priority is that it's simply there, that I learned something, or I did something, or I increased the value of something more than today than it was yesterday. So people have to realize that you're not your past. You're not all the times that you messed up. Yes, they happened, but they didn't happen all the time, like you tell yourself. That's not what you are. You're the person who learned from a great deal of experience. And part of that experience are failures as well as successes. And when you're alone with your thoughts and you get an idea of what your thoughts actually are, live your life just acting consistently on the momentum of other people's expectations of what you want, what they want you to be like, which is where most of us are. We're living with the expectations. Well, this is what my mother wanted me to be, or this is what my dad wanted to be, or this is what my boss wanted to be, or this is what my significant other wants me to be. But it's not you. Okay, but you're caught in that momentum, and you can run into a trap.
Yeah.
And you set up a life that you really, really didn't want. It's their version of your life. And your life is certainly some type of a journey. It's certainly some great expedition into knowledge and growth. You want to grow, but you're trapped in this situation where you have a mortgage, you've got credit card bills, and you've got loans that you have to pay. You have a bunch of crap going on. We get it. You have to continue to eat and survive. And all that, and especially if you have a family that you have to feed, you have a responsibility. And oh my goodness, then you're fully locked in. At least you think you are. You can't take any chances. And oftentimes people make the mistake of getting stuck. And it's just a tactical mistake. Just like it would be a mistake if you got stuck in a video game. I'm not a big video game player, but I have, probably because I get stuck in the room and I can't figure out how to get out. But it's a great analogy. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna try this. I guess I just can't leave this room. But you can. You just have to figure out how, or find somebody who knows. Little side note, there's a guy that I believe he just passed away last year, but he had like 15 million followers on YouTube because he had a disease, so he was basically in front of a computer all the time. But he would find all the little tricks to getting out of video games traps, And it's just like, so all these people, they knew about this guy. He's like, well, I'm stuck in this room, so I know the guy or a guy, that can get me out. And that's what they did. And he did very well. He was kind of like a video game coach kind of a thing. Oh yeah, you just do this, push that button or push this button or whatever the case. But it's like it would be a mistake if you followed a map incorrectly and then you got stuck in the woods. So society itself, sets out like what honeypots for people to get trapped in the system, setting out the ideas of retirement and the ideas of the golden years and providing you benefits, providing you a healthy work environment. Why? Well, because they want people to work for them. They don't want people to realize their own dreams and escape that honeypot. They want to set it up so that you stick around for some sort of basically an unsatisfying world. And it's up to you to see that video game problem, to see that issue as it comes up on your map. And no one, I think, knows that this is the right turn to see all the problems that could potentially lay in front of you and calculate your future, so that you look around at all the people that didn't calculate and look at all the misery that they're in and learn that you don't want to be like them. Most people get stuck in these patterns where they define themselves on the person who doesn't follow through on their ideas, or a person who doesn't pursue their real interest and loves to define yourself by that. Well, I guess when I start, I quit. I start things and then I quit. And you don't have to start things and then you quit. You start things and you quit, which gives you this horrible sense of regret. It made you define yourself like that. And you don't have to do that. You get it? You understand where I'm coming from here? Look back on anything that you've done, mistakes ever made, paths that shoulda, woulda, coulda gone a better direction, the things that you've done that have driven you crazy. But the most important thing is always for all people to recognize that you're not who you were a year ago. You're not who you were 5 years ago. You're not who you were last week.
Totally.
So you've got to regulate how much you dwell on the regrets of the past. There's a lot of folks that live life, they kind of live life in a cushy cloud of marshmallows and bullshit, basically. And then one day something goes wrong. And then look at the people that have kind of taken chances and navigated their way with their own compass, with their own map. So what did they do differently? Well, they may have taken our challenge because we've got another one coming up. And we do talk about, getting people to, create their maps. Gary's got a phenomenal visioneering program that we introduce to people. And it's all about creating your map. And we have a compass. We have your own personal compass program, where, you understand where you're at and where you're going, always finding your north. So,
and if the challenge is coming up on September 19th, so if you're interested in joining us on that, let us know by typing hashtag business badass. It's actually called 3 Steps to Level Up Your Business Badass, fueled by passion, purpose, and spirit. So it's 5 days of really powerful transformational stuff. And if you've done our challenges before, you know how powerful those 5 days are. We're going to be very focused on those of you that are in business and want to bring your gift, your service, your product that you believe has an impact for the planet, to bring that more and bring it fueled by purpose, passion, and spirit. And so that starts September 19th, hashtag business badass. And then we will we'll message you specific details on how to get access to that info and registering for it. It's a free 5-day training. Very, very powerful, life transforming type stuff. Right. And, in the, in the quest, for soul searching in this chaotic world and wanting more and more ability to navigate all of that chaos with the flow and ease that's guided by purpose. I think there's 4 things that you really need to do. One is you need to recognize when you are not connected to the source of the true authentic self as consistently or congruently as you'd like to be. Okay, so if you recognize that you're not connected to the source of your true authentic self as consistently or congruently as you like to be, then that's going to bring you to a place of searching for that soul in this chaotic world, right? And the other thing is you need to be open and receptive to the feedback that you're getting from the reality that you're experiencing, because the reality you're experiencing is going to be a reflection of how much you are in alignment with that truth. Right? And then you need to know that flow and ease is possible. Right? That you can find or have evidence that it can be that way. Because if you don't, then you're not going to search for that. You're not going to be on that type of quest. You're going to be caught up in the mess of everything else that everybody else is caught up in. And when you have all of those things, then you need to connect with or find your purpose for being here in this space, at this time, doing the things you do for all the reasons you're doing them. Right? And I see Melanie dropping some great notes there. So again, I'll review them for you, Melanie, because I know that you got the first ones. First one is need to recognize that you are not connected to the source of your true authentic self as consistently or congruently as you'd like to be. Second is you need to be open and receptive to the feedback that you're getting from the reality that you're experiencing. And what I mean by, we'll talk a little bit more about that. What I mean by that is if you're moving in a direction, if you're moving through life in a direction and you're getting reflections from the universe, or what we call the infinity matrix, if you're getting reflection from that, that's one of discomfort, of dis-ease, of struggle, then that's a feedback that the matrix is giving back to you. So you need to be open and receptive to that instead of blindly going where everybody else is going or doing what everybody else is doing. And then number 3 on that is you need to know that flow and ease is possible. We need to step into that possibility mindset. We need to disconnect from the fears, the limitations, the frustrations, the past perceived failures. We need to disconnect from that and know that flow and ease is possible. And so sometimes you need to pull from your own experiences and for that evidence, and sometimes you need to look for that evidence of it happening out there in the midst of the chaos. Right? And then number 4 is you need to connect with or find your purpose for being here in this space at this time, doing the things you do for all the reasons you're doing them. Okay, and if you've done the challenge, or if you join us on the next one, then you'll hear me talking about how we're creating our reality with time, space, matter, and energy. Right? Those are the 4 things. So it's in this space, in this time, in the things you're doing, which is the energy, and then the matter, the things that show up, the reasons you're doing them. Right? And for many people out there, things are crazy right now, and have been for a minute, right? And it's easy in that craziness to get disorientated in the chaos and the storms of the world and the world events, right? There can be a lot of confusion. We get it, right? There can be a lot of worry or concern or even lack of life direction or purpose. Anyone here feel any of that since the beginning of the 2020s? right? If so, and be honest and true with yourself. It doesn't mean that you've dwelled in it or got stuck in it, but, based on the events at those times, is there things that started to question your purpose, to question your direction, to question different things about your existence and what's going on? If so, go ahead and drop a hashtag crazy 2020s in the chat so that we kind of get an idea if you're hearing and resonating with this type of message. All right? Because if you've had that experience, right? And I agree that Melanie says pandemic has led to major shifts in many areas of life. Absolutely. Some good, some not so good. There's variables on why that is for each individual, right? Well, we've witnessed it in a variety of different ways, and that's a large part of why we began these live streams for you. It's to help share some insights, some guidance, some practices to assist you in reconnecting with your life purpose and allowing ease and flow to navigate you to your soul's destination, whatever that is for you. Right? We've got a couple of hashtag crazy 2020s out there. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever, or are you currently, have you ever recognized that you are not connected with the source of who you are? Your true authentic self. Have you ever had that experience where you just felt out of sorts, where you felt not really in alignment, where you felt something was not really, it didn't resonate with you being who you are and who you know yourself to be at the deepest core? Or maybe it just hasn't been as consistent or congruent as you'd like it to be. Right? Have you had those experiences? Go ahead and drop a hashtag disconnected in the chat if you can relate and if you've had those. Right? And then the next question is, what makes you lose that connection? What is it? I mean, what is it that gets you off course of your life purpose or passions? And for each and every one of you out there, it's going to be a different answer. There's no one answer for these, right? But it's important for you to recognize the thing or types of things that shove, bump, or nudge you. Those are the creepy ones because you don't realize it. The ones that nudge you off your true north, where you make a small compromise in your integrity, right? Where you make a justification in what your passion or your purpose is, and you give some kind of an excuse for it, right? Some people have gotten so used to being nudged off that alignment, the alignment with their truth, that it's just become accepted as just the way things are. And I have, and they've had it happen so much that they've just given up on even attempting to reconnecting with their life goals, desires, and their true passion or purpose. To us, that's just sad. It's sad because your soul dwindles when you do that. It's sad because most people don't realize, what they don't realize is the impact of being even 1 degree off course and never recalibrating or course correcting. Okay, so let me share the impact from a real world example. Okay, in 1979, a passenger jet carrying, I think it was around 257 people, left from New Zealand just for sightseeing, and the flight was to Antarctica and back. So they were just flights. That was all they were gonna just kind of coast over, check it out, and come back. Okay, but on the takeoff, unknown to the pilots, right? Unknown to the pilots, there was a minor 2-degree error in the flight's coordinates. So they didn't know this, right? Well, what happened was that 2-degree error because it was never caught, right? It placed the aircraft 28 miles to the east of where the pilots thought they were. And so because they thought they were in a particular area, right, what they did was they start to approach Antarctica, and the pilots start to descend lower to a lower altitude to give the passengers a better look at the landscape. And although both pilots were very experienced, neither of them had made this particular flight before. So it was their first time, right? So they have no real way of having that reference, right? Of what was right, incorrect. And they have no way of knowing that they had the incorrect coordinates. Or that they were off course, and that the coordinates that they ended up placed them directly in the path of Mount, I mean, I don't know how you pronounce it properly, but Erebus, I think it's pronounced, right? So Mount Erebus is an active volcano that rises from the frozen landscape to a height of more than 12,000 feet. And because of that 2-degree error, sadly, the plane crashed into the side of the volcano, killing everyone on board. It was a tragedy, right? A tragedy that was brought on by a minor error. A matter of only a couple degrees, right? In fact, experts in the air navigation have a rule, they call it the rule of thumb, known as the 1 in 60, the 1 in 60 rule. And it states that for every degree that a plane veers off its course, if it doesn't course correct, it misses its target destination by 1 mile for every 60 miles that it flies. Right? And this means the further you travel, the further you are from your destination. Well, how does that relate to you? Right? So if you're 1 degree off your purpose or passion, you never reconnect, your entire life, the longer you live, the more you are away from the truth of who you are, your destination for your purpose or your passion. Right? If you're off course by, just 1 degree, right? After 1 foot, you'll miss your target by 0.2 inches, right? Which seems trivial, right? Because at that short distance, not a big deal. But the accumulation of that error is what can cause the problem. Because after 100 yards, you'll be off by 5.2 feet. Again, still not huge, but starts to become noticeable. After a mile, you'll be off by 92.5 feet, almost 100 feet. 1 degree is now starting to make a difference. Right? If you veer off course by 1 degree and you fly around the equator, you land almost 500 miles off of your target. And that's significant. Okay?
And that
Right?
doesn't count all of the other things that get in your way, wind resistance, and all of that on top of that 1 degree being off.
Yeah. Right? And again, if you're never course correcting, and that's even if you did 1 degree off and you kept course correcting to that 1 degree, is what you're talking about, right, Russ? And this is just that 1 degree, how it can take you that. So the point here is that small actions accumulated over a long time can make a huge difference for positive and negative outcomes. Right? So if your path has been in the past towards destruction, despair, sickness, and all those kinds of things, you can find a way to make a 1 degree directional shift towards a more empowered, a more healthy, a more vibrant life, and move that, and then you'll get there. Right? But when you're searching for your life purpose, right, or even just pursuing personal goals and career goals, in many ways it's like flying a plane, because you're trying to reach a destination which is with as much flow and ease as you can, and just setting the destination and then leaving things on autopilot can end up in you can end up in a destination that you don't enjoy, or worse yet, can be fatal to your soul. Okay,
Yes.
we've go ahead, Ross.
No, I'm just
Okay,
agreeing with you. Absolutely.
yeah. So we've gone to great lengths on these Hacking the Infinity Matrix episodes, and with the guests that we bring, all the guests that we bring into the Infinity Wisdom interview series, and even in the 5-day challenges that we bring to you, and all this content that we bring to you week after week. We're going into 3 years now. That's crazy. But yeah, and we've put a lot of, we've gone to great lengths to make sure that we're bringing you these things to, to, to provide resources for you to course correct before it's too late, and to catch those bumps and those nudges early on your journey.
Gary, you're
Okay.
hitting some nerves. So Aruna says, "This is amazing. This is my first time here. I'm so excited. You are making
Awesome.
many good points."
Great, awesome, awesome. I'm seeing there's a bunch. I'm watching that and trying to stay on target with what I want to communicate. So, but again, to catch those bumps and nudges early is really important on your journey. But none of what we do will make a difference if you are not open and receptive. And that's the second point I made, right? If you're not open and receptive to the feedback that you're getting from the reality you're experiencing. You need to be the one who recognizes that things are not in alignment with your purpose or your passion. Things are not moving in the direction you prefer. So what can you do, right? Things don't seem to, when things don't seem to be going in the direction that you had hoped for, and then be humbled, right? Be humbled in your willingness to adapt, to adjust, to learn something new, to do a course correction, or recalibrate to what it is, and especially when you're being bombarded with things, with people, with world events that seem adamant at taking you off that purpose or passion, right? It's important to establish and or develop some kind of mechanism for yourself to stay aware of when you're energetically or vibrationally or even emotionally not congruent with the truth of who you are. And it's work in progress, right? It's a consistent thing, but it's important enough. And there are many tools out there. And in our 5-day challenge, Ross had mentioned, we have a pretty powerful and effective tool that we share with you in order to do that, to give you a moment by moment calibration of where you are in all areas of your life, and then to be able to, from that point, make a decision on where you're going to focus your energy, your attention, and your actions. Okay. Again, if you haven't caught it or if you haven't done it yet, if you'd like to know more about the upcoming free 5-day challenge, it's called 3 Steps to Level Up Your Business Badass, fueled by passion, purpose, and spirit. It's 5 truly transformational days to help those of you in business to step up your game, right? And bring more of your purpose and passion to the marketplace, while tapping into your full potential to get your product or service out to the people that it would have the most positive impact with. Okay, so if you'd like to get more info and come and join us on the challenge, we'll talk more about it over the next couple streams as well. But if you want to have that, drop a hashtag business badass in the comments. It's hashtag business badass in the comments, and we'll send you the details by direct message within the next 24 hours. There's a couple of things we're wrapping up on the registration page, which should be done today. So we'll send you the information to get on that registration page, and you can register for that. Some of you here I know have done there was some Melanie. I participated in one 5-day badass challenge. Gary and Ross, I highly recommend working with them. So thanks, Melanie. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I mean, we're constantly refining, tweaking, and improving that for those that show up, and the This one coming up again is going to be very focused on bringing that business badass to the table, right? So once you recognize that you are not connected with your purpose, passion, or authentic self, and then you are open to being receptive to the feedback your reality is presenting, then you need to know and believe that ease and flow is possible on your journey. And sometimes this is hard to do by yourself, right? Sometimes you need someone or some people to be those guiding lights. And that's the reason so many people turn to coaching and training programs and even listening to live streams like this, knowing that when you're caught up in the storm, it's hard to even believe there's an I in the middle of it. An eye that is completely calm and untouched. And we talk about the eye of the storm all the time in our streams, right? It's a place where you can observe the chaos, but not be impacted by it. And if, right, that's the qualification there. If you see fit to enter the storm for the purpose of serving those that are in the storm with your purpose or passion, then you do it by choice. And you do it from a much more empowered place. From that eye of the storm, you can have perspective that others don't have. But again, it's getting there that can be a challenge, right? So we hope that the content we bring you is like that hand that reaches in and connects with you and pulls you out of the mess, getting you in a clear, grounded space, and then equipping you with new tools, new resources to go out and make the impact you were meant to make. And whether that's with your family, whether that's with your neighborhood, whether that's wherever, right? Sometimes all you need is a reminder that even though the global economy may have reflections of bleakness at the moment, and that it's like the whole planet has barely had a chance to recover from a 2-year lockdown, and then there's this energy crisis or supply issues or spiraling cost of living and even war. These are all real things that you or someone on the planet is dealing with. We get that. But it doesn't have to take you off your true north, your purpose, or your passion.
Or take you out totally.
Exactly, right? It doesn't have to take you out of the game.
Right.
Right? It can be used as inspiration to be even more committed, even more dedicated to serve yourself, your family, your community, your planet with the gifts that you are meant to bring to the party. Okay? And remember that everything has an expiry date in the form that it's showing up as. Okay? Meaning that nothing, and Ross has talked about this earlier, none of these issues will last forever. It's all temporary. If we look at the last 50 years, okay, the last 50 years there on our planet Earth, right, there have been many things that seemed bleak and dire at the time they were happening. But as a planet, we made it through it. Right? Really. None of what's gone on, none of what's happening is new or unique. Right? For those of you that have been alive in the last 50 years, right? Whether you were aware of it or not, you've been through the oil crisis of the 70s. Okay? Some of you have memories of those lineups and lineups and lineups, and you know, they even made a movie about it, right? So you've seen inflation levels peak at 25%. I mean, we were thinking now it's a 5% or 7% or 8%, whatever. 25%. We've gone through it. Right? You've been impacted in one way or another, again, whether you know it or not, by Black Monday and the recession of the late 80s. You saw the rise and the fall of tech bubble in the early 2000s. And most recently, the global financial crisis of 2007, 2008. Not to mention the several wars and conflicts that have gone on in that whole time. And every one of you have been impacted by those things in different ways and to different degrees. But the message here is that they were not permanent. Even though if you were caught in the middle of any of those storms, it absolutely felt like it was going to be permanent. Listen, even this thing that's called a human experience in this body, this physical body of being a human, is a temporary gig. I say this all the time. It's a temporary gig. We get to play it out for 100 or so years if we're lucky enough, and then it's done. Right? It's done. So everything is temporary. Once you come to terms with that, you start to you can be more at ease and know that. Right? And in the challenge, we even talk about that, where if it was coming to an end and you knew that it was coming to an end, let's say in the next 24 hours, how satisfied would you be with what you've contributed to the planet, with how much you've showed up as your true authentic self, right? And the way you do that is to find your way out of the storms. Understand that they're temporary. Don't get caught up in the inertia and the hype of it all. Do whatever you need to do to get into a place of better perspective, to access more of your empowered self. And if you're in business, come join us on that 5-day challenge, because we're going to rock your world on that. Okay? And get to know what it's like to be fueled every day by passion, purpose, and spirit. Okay? And let me leave you with this. I suggest that you take some time and reflect on the things that you are passionate about in your career or business. Okay? In your relationships, in your health, in your contribution to the planet, in your enjoyment of the time you have in this human vessel, and in your connection with your true authentic self. And I want you to write all those things down. Take some time. Take some time for you. You're important enough. Take some time to really start to think about those things and write them down. Write them down in a journal, and then commit to never being satisfied with with showing up with anything less than what you and who, anything less than what and who you were meant to be. Don't accept anything else. And that's our stream for today, everyone. Okay? That's how you do soul searching in a chaotic world. All right. Hope you enjoyed the content today. We'll be back next Thursday. And if you want more details on the challenge, type #BusinessBadass if you haven't yet done it. And if you've done the challenge before, go ahead and do it and jump back on, because you're going to get different things. So don't be shy about coming back and joining on it. You'll already have a foundation to build on if you've done it before. We constantly get students coming back and they rave about what they find that they hear the second time around or the third time around, and the additional shifts that happen. So #BusinessBadass. You're welcome, everyone that's coming in. Keep an eye on your messenger, because we will connect with you through messenger with the details on. So keep your eye on the messenger, or the Facebook notifications for us, and that info, so we can kind of have that direct communication with you. Until next time, we dare you to be exceptional, and the only way to do that is to implement what you learn and learn from what you implement. All right?
Thank you, everyone.
Be well, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for showing up.
So we truly hope you enjoyed this latest live stream. Each week, we bring you the best in cutting-edge techniques and processes to help you better yourself and create the reality you desire. In order to stay notified for more live streams like this, as well as any upcoming interviews, master labs, or time clips, be sure to click the like button and ring that bell. As a matter of fact, you might be ready to step things up for yourself. You see, everything and everyone you've been exposed to in our live streams all have one thing in common. They've harnessed their own potential, claimed their badass self, raised their game, and leveled up. Whether it be in business, personal, romantic, for whatever dimension of life you choose, there's always a next level. So we encourage you to rekindle your passion, your purpose, and spirit, and step it up, and register for our next free 5-day badass challenge. The link is below, and we are excited to see you take a leap into a new reality that only you can imagine.